This video is brought to you by Iona, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Iona is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave.
Hello and welcome to the Model Y Performance. Yes, the Model Y Performance, and it's the new one. So it's the Juniper update, Model Y Performance. I was lucky enough to spot this car in the showroom and I'm able to film here as well. So today I'm going to try to show you everything without driving about the Model Y Performance.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to the CCAN Action Fund for sponsoring this out-of-spec video. Guys, I've been telling you about it for weeks, but the CCAN Action Fund is putting on my favorite EV raffle of the year, and they are nearing the end. We are just days away from the EV raffle of the year to finalize. However, there is still time for you to get in. First of all, the odds have never been better for you to win. They are undersold on tickets massively, which means the chances of winning are super high. And there's also more prizes than ever. Each entry grants you 3 chances to win. For example, in the first place prize, you could win a Rivian R1S or R1T, a Lucid Gravity or Air, or of course, Porsche Taycan or Macan. You will have also heard me said over the last few months that there's a second place opportunity, which is a Hyundai Ioniq 5 or Volkswagen ID Buzz, your choice. And for the first time ever in a CCAN Action Fund raffle, there is a third place opportunity, which is a Chevy Equinox EV. Truly one of the best events of the year. Out-of-spec viewers have won multiple times in the past. I've got to meet up with them afterwards as well and see their cars. It's such an exciting time. If you already have a ticket, buy another one. If you don't, get in on the action. Tickets are $200 to enter. Truly, the chances are great. Head to evraffle.org or visit the link in the description to learn more and enter for your chance to win.
So first of all, we start inside, of course, and I noticed some differences. So we have the carbon fiber trim here. We have the carbon fiber piece here. That's the same as the Model 3 Performance. We still have the blinker stalk, and the steering wheel looks pretty much the same. But I do notice that we have aluminium performance pedals down there. And here you can see how the car looks. But of course, we will go outside and take a look at the new styling elements as well. So let's go into here, and I think I'll turn the car to English. There we go. Now we are in English. So if we go into dynamics here, you can see that we have this new insane mode. And what I noticed immediately over my Model Y Performance, I have an earlier generation Model Y Performance. That's actually my dog car that I use for hauling my dogs. So I can compare this one to my Model Y Performance, which is interesting. So anyway, we have acceleration, chill, standard and insane, and I noticed that you can actually choose insane here, and it says launch mode available. So here it shows the instructions for launch mode, which is in insane mode. But here I noticed that you can have standard still. When you have the Model Y Performance of the last generation, you just had chill and sport as your driving mode. So here you have 3 acceleration modes instead of just 2. Deceleration, that's the recuperation or regen, of course. That's just a Model Y Juniper update. You can actually have reduced deceleration for slippery conditions, and you can do ride and handling differences. That's unique to this Model Y Performance of the new generation. You have standard and sport handling, which is super nice to see, and that's of course because of the all new suspension that we see here. Steering weight, that's the same, and here you can stability assist and stuff. What I don't see yet is track mode. I assume track mode will come to this Model Y Performance, but as of now, with the software version that is in this showroom, there is no track mode yet. So that's worthy of a note. Let's go into software here and additional vehicle information. You can see that we have a premium audio system. We don't know how many speakers there are. I assume it's the same as the long range. We have full self-driving computer 4, heat pump, everything, AMD Ryzen, that's to be expected. Motor type front induction, motor type rear permanent magnet. So we have the performance drive unit in the rear as far as I know. So let's talk a little bit about the seats. These now have a thigh support, and they are of course the performance seats. So they have more bolstering, they have a more bucket seat look. I still think they feel super comfortable and nice, and actually much better than the earlier Tesla seats. Some people like the earlier seats more than new ones. I like these ones because they grip me better, but seats are such a personal preference. But my first impressions of these seats are great. We have no adjustable headrest like we saw with the Model Y long range that released in China, but still this feels very similar to the Model 3 performance seats. Seats are still heated and cooled in the front and heated in the rear, and no heating for the middle seat, just like with the Model Y Juniper. And maybe you also want to see the vehicle identification number, XB7, built at the Giga Berlin factory, and there you can see all the VIN identification stuff so that you can find out what's going on. The battery in this car is the new LG 5M battery. We know nothing about this battery other than that it should have a larger capacity compared to its weight, so more energy density. This makes me a little bit afraid because the LG battery has known to have a very poor charging performance, and when you throw in energy density, it usually doesn't make it better. So I'm curious to see the charging of this car and taking it for a ride and doing all my charge testing and stuff, and that will of course come later on in a later video. But I'm not entirely sure it's a good update to have energy density in the Model Y performance. I think it needed charging performance. This is unique to the European and Chinese market, the only markets, and the Australian markets, the only markets that get this LG battery. But it's important to note that this is a new LG battery. Let's give LG a chance here. Let's just say that it's a new battery with higher energy density. Let's hope it charges better than the old LG battery. For the US market, I assume this car will get a Panasonic battery with better charging performance. What worries me is that this car is rated at 460 horsepower in Europe, and that's the same as the old Model 3 performance in Europe. This means that we can expect the same power output. The problem here is that it seems to be battery limited, once again, exactly as the Model 3 performance is in Europe. In the US, you get the full 500 plus horsepower from the Panasonic battery. In Europe, we always got the LG battery, which limited the performance of the Tesla Model 3 performance to 460 horsepower. And when I see the same power output on the Juniper Model Y performance, I'm a little bit worried that this new battery isn't everything that we hoped for. Of course, we need to do proper testing, we need to drive it around, we need to push the car to its limits and check how it does. Maybe it has much better thermal longevity, maybe there are other things that are better with the battery. We don't know yet, but we will know very soon. It is rated for 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.5 seconds, so it is still insanely fast. The top speed of the car is 250 kilometers per hour, so it's the same as the old Model Y performance. The suspension should be upgraded as well, even over the Juniper, of course. We have a performance suspension or like more adaptable suspension so that you can get a more sporty feel, or you can turn off the sporty feel, whatever you want. This is kind of similar to the stuff we saw in the Model Y long version that was released in China, where you could adjust the suspension for the rear passenger comfort or more sporty driving feeling. I suspect there is a variation of this suspension in this Model Y performance to get the real sporty feel that you can get with the Model Y performance over the normal long range version. Track mode is nowhere to be seen in this Tesla Model Y performance, exactly as the first Tesla Model Y performance. That was also launched without track mode. It came later in a software update, so I'm not too worried about this. I hope that the US market also gets an energy bump, so more range, which would be absolutely nice in this car. The wheel-to-be range of this car is increased from 514 kilometers to 580 kilometers. So that's a significant bump in range. Tesla doesn't quote the capacity of the battery, but I have done some digging and I think it's 84 kilowatt hours gross capacity, or maybe even usable. But it should be a significant bump in energy for the same amount of weight. Towing is available on the Model Y Performance. I have confirmed with the sales reps here. It should be 1,600 kilograms, so same as the old Model Y Performance, which is great to see. Let's jump outside and take a look at the styling. Let's take a look at the styling. So we have a special bumper in the front, made for high performance driving. That's the same in the rear. It looks significantly different than the old Model Y Performance, and it has such a differentiation over the old Model Y long range compared to the old Model Y Performance, which didn't really look that different other than a spoiler basically from the long range version. So here we have real differentiation. We also have new 21-inch Arcanide 2.0 forged wheels in a staggered setup, 255 in the front and 275 in the rear. You have integrated aero inserts that you can remove, so here you can see the difference between those removed or included. That's just personal preference, what you prefer there. You have red calipers, that's the same as the old Performance. You have a performance badge on the rear. You have like lights, door still lights that show the Performance logo that Tesla uses. We have glossy dark side mirrors for the first time ever that I've seen this on a Tesla. We have a spoiler in carbon fiber on the rear that's larger than ever. It is much larger than on the old Model Y Performance. We have the performance seats that I already showed you, but now we have like thigh support on them, which the Tesla Model 3 Performance doesn't have. We have details in carbon fiber inside the car, on the dashboard and on the doors, and we have aluminium accelerator and brake pedals. This screen is all new. It is now 16 inches instead of 15.4, so slightly larger, but it has more pixels. It has a higher pixel density, and I can see that. It looks amazing, and I always think that Tesla screens look great, but this one looks particularly great. So let's see here if we turn on some... Oh, it's so snappy. Let's turn off the weather map and then just zoom in here. You can see that we have pretty great resolution. We have the fastest like maps available on the market with Teslas as usual. It should be 80% more pixels than the earlier 15.4-inch screen that we saw in the Juniper, which again was slightly better than the old Model Y. So this is kind of like the third generation Model Y screen that we see here, and it's the same screen that is available in the Model Y L, or the Model Y long version that we saw in China. So this is the screen, and to be honest, it looks great. It's also a little bit more squared up, it looks a little bit more modern, and the same beautiful snappiness even with the high resolution that we are used to with Tesla. See, you can look at the mountains there. Maybe we see like a hiker here. It's so insanely sharp. So that's extremely nice to see. And if you go in and watch a video, it should be nicer from the back seat as well. The new screen is amazing to watch video, and it's such an upgrade from my Model Y Performance that has the smaller screen, even before the Juniper refresh. This is a significant upgrade in quality, and of course the sound system is amazing. Together, if you are interested in watching videos in your car, this is such a nice upgrade. The rear screen is exactly the same as before, to my knowledge. The seat is perforated and air conditioned, so the air conditioning goes, it's here, here, here. I think it stops around here. So this area is not actually air conditioned. And now I have the thigh support in the maximum out position. I would probably have it in the middle, but it's super nice to finally have thigh support. Let's check how low we can sit in this car. Does the seat go low enough? Nope, it doesn't. It doesn't go low enough in this car, unfortunately. Of course, that's also personal preference, but in a performance car, I think you should be able to sit on the ground, even though it is a crossover type of vehicle. unfortunately, we still have this gray headliner. I think it really clashes with all the amazing materials they have decided to put in this car. They have upgraded the interiors in such a way that it just feels amazing everywhere you touch on the car. It's like soft leather without any hard plastics. One of the best modern car interiors for the price. But they still kept this municipality gray headliner, and I think this is a huge miss. It clashes with the performance look with this kind of gray headliner, and we saw the Model Y long version actually update the headliner to a dark headliner, and it looks so much better. However, I kind of think that they will update this over time, and maybe when they release the car in other markets, because having a dark headliner can't be that much of a cost increase. Maybe $5 each car. I think that's worth it, to be honest. But you can see the gray headliner the entire way around here. Thank you so much for watching my quick look around on the Tesla Model Y Performance. Leave a comment down below, what do you think about the Tesla Model Y Performance? Do you think they will make some adaptations for the US market? And why do you think that they released the Tesla Model Y Performance in Europe first, even before China, which is very interesting? This car is of course made at the Giga Berlin factory, so that of course plays in. But there might be other reasons as well. Leave a comment down below what you think, and thank you so much for watching this out of spec video.